Hey there, today we'll be doing this question that's maximum number of groups entering a competition which appeared in weekly contest 3 or 4, and the question statement goes by you're given a positive integer array grades which represents the grades of students in a university. You would like to enter all these students into a competition in ordered non-empty groups such that the ordering meets the following condition. The sum of the grades of students in the ith group is less than the sum of the grades of students in the I plus 1th group. The total number of students in the ith group is less than the total number of students in the I plus 1th group, and we just need to return the maximum number of groups that can be formed. So taking in a simpler example, let's just take an example of something like 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, something like this. So what do we need to have? We can have this person as one of the group. Okay. Now the condition is that is the summation is 1, and how many person are there? There are one person only. So this is the sum and this is the person. Okay. So now in the next group, I need to have the summation which should be greater than this, and also the number of persons should be greater than this. So can I take this 2 only? No. Since the summation is greater, which is perfectly fine, right? But the number of person is only 1. So we need to take 2 persons. So we got to take this thing. That is 2 and 3. Now the summation comes out to be 5 and 2 for this one, right? Now, next we want the summation to be greater than 5 and the portions should be greater than 2. So obviously we will need to take the next 3 regardless of anything, since we need more persons, right? So that is why we took these many. So I hope you have understood the question and the approach might be coming to your mind. At first, what I did was I thought of a binary search solution. Okay. So I thought using binary search, but I couldn't really get into the implementation part. So I applied a greedy approach at last and it actually worked, obviously. So I'll be discussing the greedy approach since I used that method only. And yeah, let's get on to the code part. Since this is a very easy one, I'll just tell you the intuition and the code at once. So what do we need to do? We know that we'll be having something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'll be taking the same example. So we know that we just have to make an increasing sequence of summation also and the number of persons also. So why just not sort the array? Okay, after sorting the array, I know the smallest one be here. Okay, the smallest one will be at the front, so I can make that person into one group. So I know this person can form one group. Now next I want summation that should be greater than this. Now there could be a case that is number could be equal, right? This could also happen 1, 1, 3, 4. So I know for sure in order to make another group I'm bound to take two persons at once. So obviously I'll be taking two-person from next. So this is why we get another group from here. Now I know regardless of the sum, let the sum, just don't consider the sum for now. I know a fact that I need to take 3% obviously. So what will I do? I'll be taking the next 3. And why am I so sure that this taking of next 3 element is always optimal? Because I've already sorted the array. I will never have a case something like this, like something like, let's just say 4 and a 1 and a 1, and let's just say this 4 also disappears from here and it is 1. I will never have something like this. Why? The summation of 3 plus 1, that is 4 here, will never happen. Why? Because I've already sorted the array, so it has already taken care of the case. Let's just say this is our input. What would have happened? I have after sorting the array, it would have become something like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 ones and 1 3. So this is what the sorted array would be looking like. So it is already taking care of the cases that says that okay, the smaller ones go at the front, so I can just form the groups right here. So I'll form the first group here. The second group will be this one. Okay, the summation turns out to be 1 for this one. The summation turns out to be 2 for this one. Now I know whatever the summation be, I do not care of that right now. I know the summation will be greater only if I take next 3. and since 3 is the most viable solution that we can take, since I want it to be as maximum as possible, so I'll be going in an increasing order by saying that okay, first I'll make a group of 1, then a 2, then a 3, and so on up till how many I can take upon. Okay, so that is the whole intuition behind this problem, to sort and to actually make as many groups as possible. So let's get on to the code part as well. So this is the sorted part which I did. Okay, and I know initially I will have one group obviously. So if my array looks something like 1 2 3 4 5 and 6, I know the smallest element can form a group in itself, so that is perfectly fine. So that is what I did right here. So I'll just remove this off and change the color. And so this part right here is saying that okay, you are the first guy of the group, and the teams is representing what? The teams is representing the number of people in that group, fine. And the counter is representing the overall number of teams that I have formed, so which is what I'll be returning at the last, right? So this is what I have been doing here. So moving on to the next part, to the counter and to the loop. So as I said, the counter is just the maintaining the overall answer that we have, that is how many teams that I could form. After that, what are these current and grades doing? Okay, so now let's get on to this part. So I said that grades, whatever it is, the first one is forming a group in itself. So I said I'll take a sum variable. Okay, and whatever the first value is, I'll make markup to that. Okay, and I'm taking a current value. So what is this doing? So now let's just dry run it side by side and I'll show you how to do it. So let the sum be as it is, fine. After that, I'm saying that current, you just add upon the value that is at the ith index, that is I'm forming the second group now. So I say okay, I'll form the second group, and who are the participants of the second group? 2 is one of them. After that, I see that is current greater than sum. So is the summation of current of my current group greater than sum? Yes it is, but there is one more catch to it. Are the number of participants greater than the previous team? So the previous team had how many participants? That is one, right? But now I need how many participants? I need two. So will that condition satisfy? Obviously not. So that is why I've taken a check of that also in this part, that is I minus last is greater than teams. If it is, then only move on. So now what do I see? I see that I only have one person, so I need to increase my team. So team size is now increased, and we move on to the next ith index, that is on 3. So in this current team, I'll add one more member, that is 3. So what is the summation? Now the summation comes out to be what? 5. So I know 5 is greater than 1, that is perfectly fine. And also, how many members are here? There are 2 members obviously. So what can I say? Yes, now I can form a team of these two members with the summation 5. So now what do I say? I'll increment my counter, that is taking care of my overall team obviously. So I incremented my counter also, which is right here, increment of the counter. And the number of teams I have in this current part is how many? That is 2. So that is what this teams part is taking care of. So the team part will now become 2. Previously it was 1, now it will become 2. Okay, now, what is this sum? This sum is saying what was the summation of the previous team. So the summation now should be updated to 5 obviously, because for the next team I need a summation greater than 5. Okay, greater than 5 is what I need. That is why I did this part as well. Okay, and also I said where was the last index that you found a team. Okay, so that is just taking care of the team size, the last variable. And I made sure the current value, that is this one, was initialized to 0. Okay, so now let's just complete this dry run and it will be a cakewalk for you to understand this part. So the current is what? Was 5, and now I went inside this if condition and I changed the summation to be 5. Now I am forming the next team. So I'll just erase this part also. And mind you, the current here you have to make 0. This is a important part. Okay, So now my current team size is what? 2 right now. So that is taken care by the teams. Now my current is 0. Now again I start from here, that is from 4. Now 4 added to your current is 4 greater than 5? No, just move on. Plus 5, 9 is greater than 5 surely. But what was the teams? The previous team size was 2, which is already stored. Again, the team size right now, that is I minus last, will come out to be 2. So I cannot take on. Move on. Plus 6. Okay. So now I see this value is greater than obviously 5, right? So I can go on here and increment my counter, and also the teams will be incremented to 3, and the sum will be carried on to here, and eventually the last will be updated and also the current will be updated, and we'll just exit out of the loop since this is the end of the array. Okay, so yeah, this is it for this whole code explanation as well, and I hope you have understood this code and as well as the explanation. And I've already submitted this code, so don't worry about that. You can check this code out obviously, and if you want the code, it will be in the description as well. And yeah, if you did understand this question and the explanation, please do like and subscribe. And yeah, thank you for watching.